Good morning, and I'd like to welcome you all to the number 8 meeting of 2019 for Bitcoin Cash development. We have representatives from a variety of implementations, and I'm going to start off by introducing the panelists that are here today. So I'll start on my top left, Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason Cox, software engineer contributing to BitcoinABC.
Great, thanks, Jason. Mark Lundeberg.
Yeah, I'm Mark Lundeberg. I'm a Bitcoin Cash developer. I've been working on the Schnorr signatures and be working on future things for the November upgrade as well.
Great, thanks, Mark. Antony Zegers.
Hi, I'm Antony Zegers, Hungarian online. Yeah, I work with BitcoinABC. I've mostly been doing specification and testing stuff for this upgrade.
Great, thank you, Antony. Chris.
Yeah, I'm Chris Pacia. I work on OpenBazaar as well as the BCHD Bitcoin Cash Golang implementation.
Great, thank you, Chris. Fernando.
Hi, I am Fernando Pelliccioni. I am the maintainer of Bitprim node.
Okay, and we're going to have Andrea Suisani is coming in through the back door.
Hi, sorry.
No problem. Andrea, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Andrea Suisani. I'm a Bitcoin Unlimited developer.
Great, thank you very much, Andrea. Also known as SigPig. All right, moving on to the agenda for today. I'm just going to give a quick overview. We'll be discussing the status of the various node implementations regarding upgrade readiness. We will then move on to specification update, and then item number 3 is the upgrade testnet, followed by item number 4, which is the 25 unconfirmed transaction limit discussion of how that's processing. Andrea, I've been notified that your volume is a little low, so when you speak, I'll ask you to speak up a little bit. So let's start off with the status of various node implementations regarding upgrade readiness and in alphabetical order. BitcoinABC, Jason, do you want to start that off?
Yeah, sure. There's not much to say for ABC. We've been ready for the upgrade for a little while now, and we've been helping other implementations prepare for the upgrade, and we're just making minor improvements, RPC changes and performance improvements in the meantime.
Great, thank you, Jason. And the next item, Antony, did you want to add anything to that? Let's take you away from your coffee there. No? Okay. Next on the list is BCHD. I guess that's Chris.
Yeah, we just released the 0.14.2 yesterday, which should have full compatibility. We had the 14.1 was out a few weeks ago, but I guess what we're going to talk about, there was maybe a clarification in the spec that there was like an edge case with the SegWit recovery. So we patched that and put that into the 14.2 release, which was just released, which should be completely compatible. Also synced the new testnet version with that, and there was some transactions that people made on the testnet to exercise these edge cases and stuff, and it handled them correctly. It also fixed, there was 14.1 fixed the bug in opcat. This one also fixed the bug in the bin to num, or num to bin, which hasn't really had any issues on the mainnet so far. Nobody's used it in a way on mainnet that creates a problem, but on testnet it bombed because of the bug in bin to num. So if anyone out there is running BCHD, then you want to upgrade to 14.2 because that is the one that's going to be compatible with the hard fork and not have any opcode bugs in it that I know of.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Anybody have any questions for Chris? No? Okay. Moving on, next item is Bitcoin Unlimited. Andrea, can you give us a little update on your readiness for the upgrade?
Yes, we participated in the latest Testnet May upgrade fork, and everything went smoothly so far. So Schnorr and also the cyclic recovery transaction were processed correctly. The time-based fork code worked, and also the reorg through fork points work. So I think that we are pretty much ready. We're going to release this week. And among other things, like the fork code, we have other improvements in reliability and graphing and stuff like that. But you will see as soon as we release, we are going to put out change log and a detailed documentation to list the improvements.
Great, thank you, Andrea. Anyone have any questions for Andrea for Bitcoin Unlimited's release?
Actually, I just had a quick question. I saw today there was a post about graphene being updated. Is that in the new Bitcoin Unlimited release also?
Yes, there is a bunch of things that we have added to graphene in terms of optimization, and both on the IBLT, the way we choose the size for IBLT and bloom filter. We have also a way to substitute bloom filter with something that we call fast filter, that basically use it's a simplified version of bloom filter. By the way, we are going to have in-depth documentation written by George Pacia. This is the main author of the code, so that everybody could have a look at it. And it will be included in the release notes.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Any other questions for Andrea?
Yeah, a follow-up question to that. I haven't had the time to look in depth at the graphene updates. Are they backwards compatible with other past deployed versions of Bitcoin Unlimited?
Yes, so far, yes.
Okay.
Because basically we're going to use X version, that is in the handshake to determine which version of graphene you are going to be able to handle, and then fall back to the initial version if the client is not able to deal with new features. So by the way, everything will be detailed in the release note and then the documentation written by George.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Great. Thank you very much, Andrea. No further questions for Andrea and Bitcoin Unlimited. Move on. Anything to report from Bitprim?
Yes, all the tests done for the hard fork are good, was good, and I am following the release process. I am having some issues with the infrastructure, so I am making the release of the new version ready for the hard fork.
Excellent. Anyone have any questions for Fernando? Hearing none, we'll move on. BCash. Unfortunately, Mark Tinaway is not able to be here. There was a meeting a few days ago. I will post the link to that meeting. We did record it and put it online. So there's a concerted effort to get purse.io in shape for the upgrade. So just letting you know that is taking place if you weren't aware of that. But I will put the link to the video up in the show notes after this meeting as well. Any additional information regarding any upgrade readiness for coming up? I'm hearing none. We're going to be talking about the testnet upgrade shortly, so we'll move on to that. Second item on the agenda, specification update. Antony, did you want to speak to that?
Sure. I mean, Chris pretty much covered it already, but just to reiterate, yeah, it turned out that there was the way the specification had been written for SegWit recovery wasn't exactly, there were some edge cases that were different from how it had actually been implemented. So basically we ended up having to fix up the wording and the specification, and Florian mostly did that, the fellow who actually did the SegWit recovery. I helped out a bit with the wording, but it's pretty much ready. So I guess we added a whole bunch of test vectors and stuff as well to make sure that you know, to expose those cases, to make sure that it's done correctly. So I guess for anyone who's dealing with SegWit recovery, you might want to check with the specification again. It's pretty much, I think we're about to merge it in. It's pretty much ready to be fixed up. So yeah, it was good that it was actually good that that was discovered in BCHD. I guess that's a good example of how having more than one implementation is good for that kind of thing. So yeah, and I guess the next item is the upgrade testnet. So just following on from that, we also tested it out, and I guess BCHD, we tested out that edge case on the testnet, and everything seems to work properly now. So that seems pretty good.
Squashing them bugs. Good work.
So yeah, people might want to, like, if people want to read through specifications and stuff, that would be helpful.
Okay, we'll get the link up in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Antony. As we're on the upgrade testnet update, do we have anything further from anyone regarding the testnet update?
I guess I can keep talking about that too. Basically, we did another activation earlier this week. So we reset the activation time and tested out, including Bitcoin Unlimited and Bitprim nodes. So all that seemed to work. So basically, as it stands now, we have 4 implementations that have all been tested on that testnet and seem to, you know, have done activating of the hard fork and stuff like that. I don't know if Mark wants to add anything. He actually did a bit more of the actual testing.
It's just as you said, prepared some transactions exercising different edge cases, and yeah, it all went smoothly. So that's good.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else commenting on the update to the testnet? Hearing none, move on to the final item on the agenda. Anyone in the participants or the attendees, if you have any questions, now is the time to start putting them together. So item number 4 is the 25 unconfirmed transaction limit. This is a discussion of how this item is progressing. Who would like to speak to that? I know we don't have Emil here right now.
I guess that was also Shama was gonna.
Yes, my apologies. I forgot to identify the people who gave their regrets about attending. Shama was unable to attend, as well as Matthias from BitPay. So we'll just bring those 2 items up. It's always nice when people let us know that they can't attend. Oh, Omri gave his regrets as well. He's unfortunately traveling today.
For the 25 transaction thing, I could also kind of reiterate what I said last time, which was just to emphasize how I think it makes a lot of sense to really focus on fixing the fundamental issue rather than just expanding it slightly. Like, if you think about it from the perspective of applications and so on, the big cost, like, it's a big pain in the neck for them to have to even track this transaction limit. So I guess the quicker you can get to not even having to deal with it at all is the huge win. So, and it ties in, it fits in with all the other scaling plans and so on. Whereas just bumping it slightly it has basically limited benefits. So I guess I just think the focus should be on the fundamental-ish problems and trying to fix that, even if it takes slightly longer. The benefit is so much better. But that's just my opinion.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you, Antony. Any other comments? Jason?
Oh, I was just going to say this. This matches very well with a link that Omri shared not too many days ago about good work and right work. So like bumping the unconfirmed transaction limit up is good work, but the great work, the right work, is to fix it at its core. I'll try and find it. I'll dig it up and hopefully we can link it with the video because it's a very, very good read about what sort of high quality work people should be focusing on.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for that. Anything further on unconfirmed transactions? Okay.
Yeah, I do. So I think last meeting, Josh, I think he was going to look into, BCHD. So we don't have child pays for parent in BCHD. So we don't have any unconfirmed limit on unconfirmed transactions, due to anything of that nature.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for letting us know about that. Now, the final item for today, I don't have any questions from the audience, but do we have any comments or considerations for the November upgrade that we'd like to have discussed at this point?
Well, definitely doesn't hurt to start early on that. You want to get, if somebody has a feature they want to get in, they should be discussing it now and start implementing it now for sure.
Okay, and it's fairly obvious that you guys talk amongst yourselves in the various Telegram and Slack groups. But if there is something that's on the horizon, I guess this is the time to talk about it for November.
I guess maybe it's good to emphasize where the good avenues for discussion. So there are on the BitcoinCash.org GitHub repository. There's the various work groups. You can find Telegram group links there. Those are a good place to contact people. Yeah, it's a bit fragmented, but there are also various Slacks spaces for different implementations. And yeah, that's probably the main places to have discussions, I would say.
All right.
I guess I'll throw in a random thought on that I have. Is one thing I'd really be interested in someone looking at is how the SIGOPS counting happens and the SIGOPS limit is calculated, because that's sort of similar to the 25 transaction limit thing, in that you're basically accounting for something in a way that just even the accounting for it limits scaling. It would be nice to move to a better SIGOPS counting method. So I don't think anyone's actually, like, that's one of those things that's everyone always thinks should be done, but it's never the top priority. So if someone feels like looking into that, I think that would be a good thing to do.
Are there any of the implementations currently that are looking into that?
I don't know if currently, but I know that Andrew's done look into the code to counting the SIGOPS. The thing is that it is trickier than unconfirmed transaction chain in the mempool, because it is consensus area rather than policy area. So it has to be very well thought out and implemented, and has to be agreed upon all implementation, because you are going to risk to split the chain if something bad happens. Whereas with the confirmed transaction chain in the mempool, you could have bad synchronization between mempools. It's valid for several confirmation transactions, but you won't have a chain split. So just wanted to underline that it's a different beast.
Maybe I just realized maybe people don't know what I'm talking about. Like, the SIGOPS limit is when the operations like check sig, check data sig, check multi-sig, those opcodes take like many times longer than simpler opcodes. So there's a limit on how many times you can do that within a block. And right now there's like a weird heuristic way of counting, depending on what type of transaction it is and stuff, and various, like I think it counts check multi-sig as 20. I has 20 SIGOPs and whatever. It like doesn't really make any sense.
It's just an arbitrary weighting system. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird heuristic.
Sometimes it counts them it counts them from the outputs instead of the inputs.
Yeah,
but only sometimes.
Yeah,
it's really complex.
Yeah, like, and the thing about it is even just counting them is like a significant, it's a bottleneck. So if you could not count them that way, that would be nice. I mean, ideally in concept, it would be nice if you could just count what is actually executed when you validate a block and have the limit be based on that. But like Andrea said, it's fairly complicated and it gets right into the weeds of how everything works. So it's not just a simple thing to change. It like touches a lot.
Yeah, I guess that a good thing to have as base start would be a decent description of the current algorithm and heuristics. That would be tricky to get. I mean, you have to go through all the implementation to see if everything is okay and everything are on the same page, because we don't even know, we are not even sure if there is some corner case where implementation differs, because we are not stretching the actual throughput of the system, so we don't know. Current block average size is something like, I don't know, a bunch of kilobytes or stuff like that. So it's very difficult to achieve so high number in terms of transaction and SIGOPs. So yeah, it would be a good thing to have the actual situation, and then from that move on to something better. Or I don't know. We could have some good idea and scratch everything from the current implementation and start from a tabula rasa of the field and then move on. But this is something that we have to put a lot of on.
Yeah, ideally, I think we would move on, but it is going to require someone to have a base understanding for how the counting works. Because like we haven't brought it up, for example, the packaging that it does, where it computes them in 1 megabyte chunks. That's also something that needs to be well understood as we migrate away from it.
Yes.
I mean, the way I would approach it is, if you like, it would be to just add in counting the actual SIGOPs that are executed when a block is validated as this, and just be able to count that number, and then like not validate it or anything, but just actually implement the capability to do that, and then make sure that all works properly, and then you can hopefully just throw out the old method completely. But yeah, that's kind of a long process. Sounds simple to just say it like that, but it's a lot more complicated.
Well, it's a great candidate for something that someone can work on in advance, because I mean, you know, if it takes a sufficiently long time, it may have to be the next May hard fork.
I mean, it basically ties into like the 25 transaction limit thing, because it affects what it's like. You could just count, you could just have a running counter or something like that as transactions enter the, you know, or as you build a block, or as transaction enter the mempool or something like that. That would basically happen similarly to that other stuff. Anyway, it's something that should be done eventually, but never seems to be the top priority.
It's on the list somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, everyone's comfortable. We have less than a month before the May 15th hard fork. Everything seems to be going well. Question comes up is, what work group would that discussion be in?
Which discussion? The general idea of upgrading things? I don't know if there's a specific work group for
SIGOPs. SIGOPs specifically, Antony. Is there a work group that's dealing with that right now?
Not that I'm aware of. I can have a look through them, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I just took a quick look. I don't see one.
All right. Well, I suspect there's a creation process about to take place. All right.
Yeah, the creation process is essentially someone just doing it and then putting in a pull request or something. There's not much of a process.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to run with that.
This is the duocracy. Okay. Does anyone else have any final comments before we move on? Or wrap up, I mean? Hearing none, I'd like to thank you all for attending. We'll be meeting again in 2 weeks, just before the fork on the 15th of May. So I'll give you, we'll put up the date and information about that soon. And thank you all for attending.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Guys.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.